Hello everyone, my name is Devinder Kaur and you all are welcome to my YouTube channel The Enlightened Room. Today in this video we will discuss about versatile nature of carbon. So let's get started. So dear students, until now we have discussed about the uniqueness of carbon, and carbon forms 4 bonds, and why does carbon show covalent bonding. And based on those concepts is our today's topic, that is the versatile nature of carbon. Well, before discussing about this topic, I am going to tell you 3 points which will be used in each and every point of this versatility topic. Okay, and those 3 points are related to carbon. Okay, now first of all, you all know, well, those 3 points are actually the facts about carbon. Okay, so first of all is small in size. Carbon atom is small in size. Now how do you explain or how do you show that it is small in size? You all know that what is the atomic number of carbon? 6. So inside the nucleus there would be 6 protons, and if there are 6 protons, since carbon is electrically neutral, there will be 6 electrons. So in the first shell it can only possess 2 electrons. And then how many electrons are left? 4. And you will show these 4 electrons in this shell. So is there anything else left in this? No. So this is the size of carbon, which is extremely small. Okay. So the reason why carbon shows versatility is also you can say in those points that it has smaller in size. That's why it shows this kind of behavior. Okay. Now another important fact about it is unique electronic configuration. Unique electronic configuration. Now what does they mean about unique electronic configuration? Since you can say in the first shell there are 2 electrons, in the second shell there are 4 electrons. Okay. Now what is the electronic configuration of carbon? 2, 4. And what is its valency? Of course 4. It needs 4 electrons to complete its octet to maintain its stability. So in this process it can neither gain the electrons nor lose the electrons, but it mutually shares those electrons with other atoms or with other carbon atoms to maintain the stability. Okay, so carbon has unique electronic configuration. Now the third important point about it is greater carbon-carbon bond strength. Now my dear students, carbon possess higher or stronger bond strength when it comes to the carbon-carbon bonds. Okay, so these are those points upon which our whole today's topic will be based. Okay, so let's get started about the versatility of carbon. Now my dear students, when we talk about the versatility of carbon or versatile nature of carbon, the first thing we pay attention on is catenation. Now the reason behind carbon shows this behavior, carbon shows versatility because it shows the property of catenation. Now what is catenation? See, I have these 2 black markers. Okay, now you can assume this one is also carbon, this one is also carbon. Okay, now if I want them to bond with each other, they can bond like this, they can make a bond like this, they can make a bond like this, they can make a bond like this. So there are various ways of their linking. Okay, so what does it mean? That in case of catenation, dear students, it is a property of self-linking of one atom in order to make a straight chain, a long chain, a branched chain, or a cyclic ring like structure. So I am not gonna stick with the definition. Of course I will explain you with the help of examples because it makes you all easy. So what does it mean? In case of catenation, I have carbon atom. Okay, Now there are other bonds which carbon will make. Since in the first carbon, it has only made one bond with other carbon, so that's why 3 other bonds will be made. Same goes with the last one, but those in between, these 3 in between, has already made 2 bonds with the carbon and it needs other bonds. Okay, so this is how a molecular formula in case of carbon is written. Okay, so let's sticking to the topic. We are talking about catenation and we are talking about the example. Since this type of structure is known as straight form or long straight chain like structure. Now another one is, I have these 3 carbons. These 3 carbons are linked with each other. This carbon has already made bond with these 2. Same goes with others. So it needs 2 other bonds with other atoms to maintain this stability. Now this is a cyclic or ring-like structure. It can also make structures similar to pentane or the structures that are considered as pentane. Okay, so same goes in this case. Similarly, it can make the structures like hexane or hexagon. Okay, this one is pentagon and this one is hexagon, and the structure of hexagon decides the structure of benzene. That means this hexane kind of molecule is similar to that of benzene, which you will study in the higher classes. Okay, so this one is straight chain structure, these one are cyclic or ring type structures. Now there is one more structure remaining, that is the branched chain. A branch is formed here. Okay, now a branch is formed here. It is considered as branch type structure or branched chain. Okay, so now you see that carbon can form so many types of structures by self-linking with other carbon atoms. Okay, this is known as catenation. Now why does carbon show this behavior? Because it is small in size, it can easily fit into any kind of structure. It has unique electronic configuration which gives it the valency of 4, and due to this valency of 4 it is able to make these kind of bonds, to make covalent bonds with other atoms or with similar carbon atoms. Since it can most probably it makes bond with hydrogen. Sorry, it makes bonds with hydrogen. Now the bonds formed between carbon and hydrogen are considered as hydrocarbons. So these all, if I place hydrogen in each and every case, these all are actually what? Hydrocarbons. You will put on hydrogen in each and every case. These all are what? Hydrocarbons. Why? Because it has made bonds with hydrogen only. Okay. Similarly, it can easily make bond with oxygen, sulfur, chlorine, fluorine, with anyone. And one more thing you need to know, that carbon can do this self-linking process with hundreds of other carbon atoms. That means in this chain, if you put 100 carbon atoms or 200 carbon atoms, it will easily make bond. It will easily make a molecular formula, which will be of course considered in higher terms. Okay, so carbon can do this up to hundreds of carbon atoms. This is catenation. Now there would be one more thing in mind. What about the greater carbon-carbon bond strength? Yes, it does possess greater carbon-carbon bond strength. How? Well, because of this greater carbon bond strength, it is very difficult to break these bonds. No one can easily break these bonds. Okay, I have erased them easily, but in actual process, in this kind of molecule, it is very difficult to break carbon-carbon bonds, as it is difficult to make. They maintain a stable configuration, they maintain a stability, and the compounds are formed which are known as carbon compounds. There are billions of carbon compounds in our nature. Okay, now there is another atom that possesses this kind of behavior, and that another atom is silicon. You all would have heard about it. Now why also silicon show the behavior of catenation, because silicon also have the valency of 4. Okay, it can also make 4 bonds with other atoms, but in case of self-linking, since in case of self-linking carbon can go up to make bond with hundreds of other carbon atoms, silicon only go up to 7 or 8. Okay, up to 7 or 8 atoms of silicon have joined, no more atom will join, no more silicon atom will be able to combine with this, because first of all silicon bond strength is lower, secondly silicon is much larger in size as compared to the carbon. Okay, so this is all about catenation. Now it's time to discuss about another property. So how today we will discuss about it. One, we will discuss about the property you have never done or you have never heard of. That means catenation, you would have never heard of catenation. Now the next property will be simpler one, okay, as compared to the first one, which you will have already done in this chapter. The third one will be again difficult one, and the fourth one will be again simple one, so that it is easy for you to remember. Now the second one is tetracovalency. Now what is tetracovalency? Tell me about it. What is tetracovalency? Well, tetracovalency, that means carbon has a valency of 4, due to which it is able to make covalent bond. Since carbon has a valency of 4, no one will donate its 4 electrons to the carbon, right? Also the carbon does not have that much energy that it can give off all its 4 atoms present in its valence shell. So what does carbon do? It neither gains the electrons, neither loses electrons, but mutually shares the 4 electrons with other atoms, making bond with other atoms, and that bond is covalent bond. Now why does carbon do so? Because it has unique electronic configuration. Okay, carbon is smaller in size again, and if it goes with carbon, then it has greater bond strength. For example, in case of ethane, this is the formula of ethane. Ethane, eth means 2, one bond is formed between 2 carbon atoms. Okay, and hydrogens are present. Since this carbon has made bond with this carbon, one electron has been mutually shared between these two. 3 electrons are left for this one, 3 left for this one. So these two individually share those 3 electrons with the other hydrogen atom, and this is how the molecular formula of ethane is formed. And this is what kind of behavior does it shows? It shows tetracovalency. Okay, so this one was easy, right? Now the next one is, dear students, sorry about it, isomerism. Now this topic is new to you. Okay, the topic is isomerism. Well, what is isomerism? In case of isomerism, you have one molecular formula. Okay, I have given to you molecular formula, and I will tell you, or I will ask you to show this molecular formula in different ways. That is your task, and that is a task of isomerism. Okay, so isomerism is a process in which you can define or show the structure of molecular formula in different ways, in 2 or more ways. Okay, and those different molecular structures are known as isomers. So for your kind information, in case of methane, this thing is not possible, right? Because there is only one carbon. It only occurs in case of carbon-carbon bonding, okay, not in carbon-hydrogen bonding, only in carbon-carbon bonding. This one is not possible. Again, in ethane, it is not possible. In propane, propane means 3 carbon atoms, it is not possible. 1, 2, 3, 3 carbon atoms. But when it goes to butane, this isomerism property we get to see this isomerism property from butane. That means butane means 4 carbon atoms. So from butane, this isomerism property starts beginning or gets beginned. Okay. So how many carbons are present? 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. And 1, 2, 3 hydrogen. There we will place hydrogen. Okay. Now this is the one way to show butane. The other way to show butane is 1, 2, 3, 4. Again 4 carbon atoms are present here. 1, 2, 3, 4. But the molecular structure of it has been changed. How? Now this carbon would possess 3 hydrogen. It has only bond with 1 carbon atom. Again, in case of this carbon is similar. In case of this carbon it is similar. But for the middle one, this thing is different. The middle one carbon atom is making bond with 3 other carbon atoms and makes bond with only 1 hydrogen atom. Okay. So when this kind of molecular structure is formed, it is considered as isomer and it is also known as isobutane, because this one is the normal structure of butane. Okay. It is a normal structure or usual structure of butane, but when it shows isomerism and makes this kind of molecular structure, it gets converted into isomer. Now what isomer, of which molecular formula this isomer has formed? Of butane it is formed. That's why the name isobutane. So now you got my point. Let us take one more example. Let us talk about butane and then pentane. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is how you will write pentane. The very common way of writing pentane. Okay. Right. Now in what different ways you will show the molecular structure of pentane? First one is similar to this one. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. And now this carbon atom again is showing bonds with other 3 carbon atoms and only 1 bond with hydrogen. So here you will write the molecular structure for what? Pentane now? No, it is isopentane. Now my dear students, there is not only this way to show the molecular structure of pentane, there is another way to show the molecular structure of it, and that other way is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now in this case you would say 1, 2, 3. The second carbon in this molecular formula, pay attention on this. It is forming bonds with only carbon atoms. Right? 1, 2, 3, 4. It has formed bond with only carbon atoms, and that's why this molecular structure is very difficult to break. And the rest one will of course make bond with the hydrogen atom. Right? So this is how we show the isomerism. Now this one is also isopentane. You will learn about its molecular nomenclature in the upcoming videos, because it is about in the end of this chapter and I like to go step by step. Okay, and when I will teach you nomenclature, then I will show how those names are formed. Okay, so now you need to remember this is isopentane. Now why is it isopentane? Because it has showed the property of isomerism. First is catenation, then tetracovalency, then isomerism. Now the fourth one we will go with the easy one. Okay, and that is, wait, let me erase it. Now again this whole thing goes with the 3 usual or most common points I had told you about carbon or most common facts about carbon. Okay. Now the other one is, the last property is tendency to make multiple bonds. Well, yes, carbon has the capacity as well as the ability of making multiple bonds with other carbon atoms. Okay, well, you all would have discussed or learnt about the types of covalent bonding, in which we had discussed about single bond, double bond. Single bond was in hydrogen and chlorine. Okay, hydrogen individual and chlorine individual, and both in hydrogen chloride. Okay, double bond in case of oxygen and triple bond in case of nitrogen. But when it comes to the carbon, it solely can show or form single, double and triple bonds when it comes to carbon-carbon bonding. How? Well, in case of ethane, it shows carbon-carbon bond. Okay, that means 3 hydrogens will be linked here, and what will be its molecular formula? C2H6, right? When if I replace the single bond with the double bond here, that means C double bond C. What will happen here? Now these two carbons have already made or already shared 2 electrons with each other. They only need 2 hydrogen. Now what kind of bond it is? Double bond. What is the name of it? Ethene. When it goes with the double, the ending will be ene. When it goes with the single, the ending will be ane. Okay. And then when it comes to triple bond, now they already have shared 3 electrons with each other. They only need 1. So only 1 hydrogen is needed, and it is ethyne. Now you got my point? Ethane, ethene, ethyne. Okay. And what is the molecular formula of it? C2H4, and for it is C2H2. Okay. So this is how carbon is able to make single, double and triple bond with other carbon atoms. Now why does it show? Because of its unique electronic configuration. It has the valency of 4, it mutually shares the electrons, it is smaller in size, and the greater carbon-carbon bond strength. You will explain these 3 points in this one. So whatever you are asked in the any one of this, let us assume that you are asked only about the isomerism, why carbon shows isomerism, you have the answer. Why carbon shows catenation, you have the answer. Why carbon shows tetracovalency, tendency to make multiple bonds. Okay, so in sum up, you have already covered 5 questions. First one is versatility of carbon, or why does carbon show versatile nature, in which you will explain about this whole stuff, and this one, that would be the 5 mark question or 6 mark question. Okay, and the individual 2 or 3 mark questions about it. Okay, so I guess this is up for today, and if you found my video useful, then do subscribe to my channel and click on the bell icon. Also share this video with your friends and classmates. Thank you for watching.